Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to Natal Computer College's second Cultural Day. Thank you all for attending, and without much further ado, we'll commence to the first item, which is by the Muslim Students Association.
Thank you, Madam MC. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and greetings to all of you in the name of Allah. The Muslim Students Association extends a warm and cordial welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Ahmed Deedat, the staff and students of Natal Computer College. Mr. Deedat will be discussing the topic, the Quran and the computer. After his talk, students will be given the opportunity to ask Mr. Deedat any questions. Please feel free to ask him any questions whatsoever. Mr. Deedat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It means peace and blessings of God to each and every one of you. I feel privileged to come to speak to your computer college, and the subject that I have chosen is the Quran and the computer. Naturally, you are inquisitive, wanting to know that this book of Islam, the Holy Quran, which was revealed 1,400 years ago, did it have anything to say about the computer? Mr. Deedat, you ask, how do you fit in the Quran with the computer? I said, you see, for a long time I myself didn't see it. I have been reading the Quran in a translation form like this one, the Arabic text with the translation, and I have been reading verses and they gave me some faint idea, but I didn't have a very clear picture until about 1975. How did it come about that I can see this relationship between the Quran and the computer? In 1975, I get a phone call from Zambia telling me that 8 tickets are waiting for me at the South African Airways. I must go and pick them up to visit Zambia on a lecture tour. So I rushed down to the center in Aliwal Street and Smith Street corner, South African Airways, and I go to the man at the reception and I tell him that I have had a phone call from Lusaka, Zambia, telling me that an air ticket is waiting for me. I have come to pick it up. And I know what I was expecting. I was expecting a booklet, coupons. You know what air tickets look like? Those coupons. So I was expecting such a thing like that. So I asked him that, look, I have come for it. So he tells me, he said, see one of these ladies. About a dozen of them were seated in a semicircular form with those terminals, visual terminals. So, see one of these ladies there. How can you see one of those ladies? To me, only one person out of the lot might have my tickets. I know what tickets look like. So I'm asking him, which one? So the way the guy flings his hands, and he tells me, like any one of them. I said, look, I'm speaking so nicely to the man. Why should he be so impolite? Is it because he's a white man and I'm an Indian? But I had no alternative. The way he directed me, I had to go. The first lady I saw was doing nothing. She was sitting at the terminal. I go up to her. I said, excuse me, madam, I have had a phone call from Lusaka and they tell me that there is an air ticket waiting for me. I have come to pick it up. She asked me, what's your name? So I tell her, my name is Ahmed Deedat. She says, spell it. So I started spelling it. A-H-M-E-D, Ahmad, D-E-E-D-A-T, Deedat. While I am spelling, she is typing on the keyboard before her. She said, yes. In other words, that means she's got it. Yes, so what now? So I said, you see, I want to go from Durban to Johannesburg in the evening, on a Tuesday evening. What have you got for me? What arrangements? She said, well, there is one at 6 p.m. I said, right, that suits me fine. Can you book me on? She says, yes. It's done. So I tell her, you see, on Wednesday now, the next day, I want to reach Lusaka at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what my hosts in Zambia told me. I must arrive there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to be there at 3 o'clock. Now, what arrangements can you make for that? So she typed again on the keyboard, and she's asking me, do you want to go through Maputo or through Gaborone? I said, look, it doesn't matter as long as I'm in Lusaka at 3 p.m. So she types again, and she said, you see, you are booked on Zambian Airlines, and the other plane to transfer this ticket to another we have to contact Zambian Airlines. And there is a national holiday in Zambia today, so we can't contact Zambian Airlines. So please come tomorrow. And you can imagine my disappointment walking from near the Mosque Madrasa Arcade to Smith Street and expecting the ticket in my hands, that it was almost within my reach, but not within my grasp. Disappointed. Come tomorrow. So I'm asking the lady, I says, madam, where did you get all this information from? So she tells me this is from the head computer in Johannesburg. I said, you know, when you were trying to book me in at the 6 o'clock flight, suppose there was only one seat left, and there were more than one of these terminals might have been trying to get the ticket. What happens then? He said, no, the first one within the second, he gets ahead, he gets a ticket, and the rest is blank. How does this happen? He said, you see, every computer in the country which is connected to the head computer has access to that knowledge. The head computer in Johannesburg. Everyone with this terminal has access to that. I said, I see. And I came out, walking back to my offices in Madrasa Arcade. While I'm walking back, the thought occurs to me that this is how this Quran was revealed. This Quran. And verse from the Quran, from the 85th chapter, the last verses 21 and 23, the last verses, tells me, بَلْ هُوَ قُرْآنٌ مَجِيدٌ فِي لَوْحٍ مَحْفُوظٍ. That nay, this is inscribed in the glorious Quran from a tablet preserved. From a preserved tablet. Now, if you have a volume like this, and if you want to know what the Quran says about the Quran, you open, just like in a dictionary, in Q, just like in the index, Q, and it will tell you everything the Quran says about the Quran. I'll give you examples. Quran, the divisions of the Quran, how it's divided into chapters and verses. Inspired message cannot be produced by other than divine agency. Verses, fundamental and allegorical, these are different topics. God is witness to the Quran. God's revelation, the Quran. Follow it and do right, the Quran. Respect and attention due to it. Book of wisdom, the Quran. It's in Arabic, the Quran. Described, and on and on and on. What does the Quran say about the Quran? The last subject in this index on the on the Quran, it says the tablet preserved. The tablet, this, when you have it, you'll be able to see it with your own eyes. It says tablet preserved, chapter 85, verses 21, 22. I read it to you. So the picture comes to me, this is how it happened.